You're watching Central Illinois' best source for news and weather. WAND News Today starts now.
A celebration of life today for a Mattoon teen, how the community plans to honor Dominic Walker. Plus, 2 more teens sentenced after a fight at an Urbana high school. The ruling the judge laid for 2 16-year-olds. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Lovelace, 6:02 a.m. as we take a look outside at some of our video from earlier this morning, some of the lightning that we saw from those storms across central Illinois. Some of the video I took outside of my front room window. Kind of a scary scene for a lot of communities. I know we're waiting for power to be restored in some of them. Meteorologist Jessica Dobson is here as we take a look now at what's ahead. Jessica.
Yeah, it was quite the stormy evening. I'm sure it woke a lot of people up. We have numerous reports of wind damage because that was our biggest thing last night, was just that we saw widespread, very gusty winds, and that's what we're going to continue to see as, we're actually going to quiet things down, I should say. We'll continue to quiet things down as we head throughout the next several hours, dealing with a couple of stray light to moderate rain showers now pushing through our far southeastern counties. That does include Marshall and Paris, and we do have a couple of flash flood warnings in place through 9:30. That does include Montgomery, Fayette, as well as Effingham and Shelby counties and into Cumberland counties. That's going to be until 9:30 this morning, just because we've seen these showers move over the same part repeatedly, and we do have a tornado watch in place until 7 o'clock. I wanted to mention that. I think it's probably going to get canceled before then because this line is quickly moving on out of here. Temperature is nice and warm, very muggy as you step outside, sitting in the middle and upper 60s, and planning out the rest of today. Wouldn't be surprised to see some sunshine, to be quite honest. Temperatures warming into the upper 70s, low 80s. I will talk more on what we can expect as we head towards our Memorial Day weekend and what we can expect temperature-wise coming up.
Well, thank you, Jessica. Crews on scene in the village of Cisco cleaning up storm damage. Here is a live look. Officials say the village is without power and there are some downed trees and power lines. You can see utility crews working right now. If you have any photos or videos from the storm, please share them with us on our Facebook page, WAND News Center 17. Stay with WAND News as we keep you updated on some of these storm damage and relief efforts throughout central Illinois. And to stay up with the latest weather conditions, of course, download the WAND weather app. It has an up-to-date radar so you can track any systems moving by. That's available for Apple and Android devices. Now, those powerful storms that moved through the Midwest turned deadly in Missouri. Officials in Missouri now say at least 3 people are dead from a possible tornado. The Missouri Department of Public Safety says a suspected tornado hit in Barton County. Crews are going door to door to check for people who may be injured, and emergency responders have been using a drone with thermal imaging to check houses for people trapped. And today, family and friends will remember Dominic Walker. His family's having a celebration of life ceremony for him that will be held at Schilling Funeral Home in Mattoon. The visitation is from 11 to 1, and the funeral will follow. And Dominic Walker was found dead in Dreamland Lake in Fairview Park in Decatur last Thursday. That Mattoon teen was missing for 6 days until a fisherman found him. Macon County officials say the cause of death was drowning. So far, no foul play is suspected. New this morning, 2 more teens sentenced after their involvement in a fight that broke out at Urbana High School. Judge Tom DeFanis ordered one of the 16-year-olds to go to a public service and counseling program because he did not have a criminal record, while the other 16-year-old will serve a year probation. These 2 teens, along with 6 other suspects, were involved in the fight back in February at Urbana High School. And the man accused of shooting and killing a 29-year-old in Mattoon is due in court today. Keith McGrew III will appear before a judge for a preliminary hearing. Police say the Chicago native got into a fight with a male victim and then shot him near the city's south side. McGrew is being held in the Coles County Jail. And a Coles County probation officer is under some scrutiny this morning for making racial comments at a bar. According to a Sullivan police report filed last month, Megan Weaver was shouting expletives and saying the N-word. In the report, a witness says Weaver shouted the N-word about 35 times and also was throwing rocks at people. A published report shows Weaver is still employed with Edgar County, but the situation is under investigation. And at the state capitol, a poll finds 2/3 of Illinois voters support the Fix the Foid Act. That's legislation that would help prevent criminals with violent histories from owning a gun. WAND's Madison O'Brien shows us why, for so many, this is a cause worth fighting for.
It was a sea of red at the Capitol. Mothers,
daughter Alexandria Amani Burgos on October 19, 2014 was shot by a stray bullet.
fathers, daughters,
I'm here on behalf of my dad, who was shot and killed on his way to pick me up from work.
and sons united together, fighting to
Fix the boy!
mothers and fathers like Milagros and Rafael. For the past 4.5 years, the Burgos family has fought for reform,
At 18 years old, my daughter's life was taken away.
looking to take the most lethal opponent out of the game: guns.
Enough guns, enough lives taken away from families, enough gun violence.
And new legislation may just do that.
This is not about infringing on the rights of law-abiding citizens, but those who shouldn't have them because they're a threat to themselves or to others.
Addressing the loopholes in the state's existing laws.
Ensure that anyone with violent criminal histories who are not allowed and prohibited from gun possession are not able to easily evade the law and arm themselves.
A sea of red for the 33,000 people who lose their lives to gun violence every year. Those who cannot speak out for themselves.
As long as I'm here, I will continue, we will continue, we all will continue to be her voice and others.
In Springfield, Madison O'Brien, WAND News.
Now, the act passed out of committee Tuesday, and lawmakers in support hope to have it on the House floor by the end of the month. Meantime, state lawmakers want to make sure police officers and deputies don't work as ICE agents. The Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights says Illinois should be welcoming to all residents, including immigrants, and that police working as ICE agents creates a divide in the community. One advocate says the fight is no longer about staying safe, it's about basic human rights.
I am fighting for our community to be able to go to work, hospitals, schools without fear, and that all people can live in their communities with dignity and respect.
The sponsor of the bill, Representative Selena Villanueva, says the goal is to make sure police focus on keeping the public safe. And Illinois senators are trying to establish a national gun violence awareness weekend. Senators Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth introduced that bill to make it June 7th through the 9th. You're asked to wear orange to mark that weekend. The senators say gun violence normally spikes in the month of June. Meantime, the state Senate is reviewing a bill to ban smoking inside vehicles with kids inside. The bill says no one can smoke in a vehicle with anyone under 18 years old in it. That includes even if the windows are rolled down or if the vehicle is not moving. If passed, the fine would be up to $250. Well, roller derby is back in Decatur this weekend. The Prairieland Punishers are previewing their bout coming up. And later, a central Illinois city in a time crunch the push one mayor is making to expand casinos in his city. And now let's take a look outside. 6:10 a.m. We talk about how calm it is out there, but I like the adjective Jessica used, kind of soupy this morning. Recovering from some storms. We'll talk more about those and what's ahead today coming up.